We spoke to Jayant Sinha some time back, just to get a sense of how the government's thinking on the eve of the budget. I spoke to him earlier. I'd like to now play that out. Let's see what Jayant told me. And joining us now is Jayant Sinha, Minister of State for Finance. Mr. Sinha, thank you very much for your time. Who is this budget going to be targeting? Is it going to be targeting the very nervous industry, the restless foreign investors, or more politically, the impatient Aam Aadmi?
This is going to be a balanced budget. It's going to make sure that the important priorities that are necessary for the economy to move forward, for us to continue to be a haven of growth and stability on some very turbulent, choppy global waters, is also maintained.
But given the political standout that we've seen, fear is that the government may choose to play it safe in the budget.
No, as I've said, the budget is a very balanced exercise. It is something that we undertake over a long period of time. It isn't necessarily driven by short-term factors. It's really driven by what's in the best long-term interest of India and the people of India.
But you know, Mr. Sinha, the broad issue is this. Your government has a bigger mandate than any governments in the recent times. You have 281 seats, you have a simple majority on your own. But the general feeling is that you have not put your own political capital at stake when it comes to economic issues. People had those expectations, but you played safe. So when will you do that? Will this budget do that? Privatization, labor reforms, strategic, stake sale. When are we going to see these moves happen?
I think the facts say otherwise, Arnab. If you really look at what we've done over the last 2 years, we have taken forward a very bold and very, I think, impactful reform agenda. And in fact, if you look at what we've done, I think the problem is we have a little bit of a hype cycle that always works in the media. But if you look at really what we've done, I think people, because of the hype cycle, overestimated the short run, but they're underestimating the long run. Sector after sector of the economy is going through a transformation process. Look at what's happening in roads, look at what's happening in railways, in social security, in the banking sector, what we've done in steel, what we're doing in the construction industry, what the real estate bill will do for real estate. Sector after sector in the economy is being thoroughly transformed. As far as the fiscal architecture of the Indian state is concerned, between what we have done in devolution going from 32 to 42%, with what we're doing with GST, what we've already said we will do with the corporate tax code. If you look at the very profound changes that are underway, I think all observers, and this is what the facts are, all observers are saying that we have put in place a very profound transformation of the Indian economy.
No, but you mentioned GST. You mentioned GST. Are you reconciled to another washout
in the last budget, and we have said we are moving forward with the transformation of IDBI.
No, two quick follow-up through questions on that.
When you are not reconciled to that at all. We are doing whatever we can to.
No, but there's no political consensus. It's got caught in a political quagmire, GST. Do you still see hope?
Arnab, there is as far as GST is concerned, there is very widespread political consensus in this country that GST should be passed. The whole GST process has been underway for a decade now. There has been a consensus building process, and that has really got, as a result of that, support from all parties, all regional parties. The BJP, the Congress itself was in support of GST. It is actually a real tragedy and really very destructive and damaging for India and the Indian economy, that because of the Congress's views on this matter, we are unable to get it passed in the Rajya Sabha.
Yeah, but is that static? India. Is there been some movement on that?
It should be. It's preventing job creation. We are trying, as you know, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Finance Minister have been meeting again and again with all parties in the opposition. We have said that we are open to discussion on all reasonable issues that are being brought forward. We've had the Select Committee of the Rajya Sabha provide its report. So we have bent over backwards, Arnab, to be able to forge a national consensus. And you speak about the land bill. We went through a similar exercise there, and when we found that national consensus on land reform was not there in Parliament, we said let each individual state deal with it. So we are showing some deft political management on these issues. Wherever there is a national consensus, like there is in GST, we are bringing it forward, we are bringing it in front of the people and saying, let's pass this. Right. Wherever the national consensus is not there, we are taking a different approach.
So
but as far as reform is concerned, we have been absolutely crystal clear in this regard. We are moving forward with a very bold reform agenda, which, as Honorable Prime Minister says, is transforming India.
Now the thing is, Jayant, that the CSO has projected the economy is going to grow at 7.6%. Will the budget's overarching theme be to boost growth at any cost?
The budget, as I said earlier, Arnab, is an exercise in balancing multiple different factors. It's very important for India to continue to be the haven of stability, as I said, in a very turbulent global economy. So there is that set of factors that we have to balance. At the same time, we do need to make sure that the economy achieves its full growth potential. And right now, the honest truth is that the economy is really moving on 3 speeds. We have one part of the economy which includes e-commerce, tourism, urban consumer goods, hotels, restaurants that are all growing very strongly, and we are really at top speed there. We have another part of the economy because of steel, because of aluminum, coal production, iron ore and so on, where we are not moving as fast as we would like, and that is kind of the second speed the economy is on. And then there's a third speed, which quite frankly is because of 2 monsoons that have been well below the long-term averages, 12% the year before, and then 14% this fiscal year, where we've had deficient rainfall, and as a result of that, our rural economy obviously is not growing as fast as we would like. So we have an economy right now which is operating in 3 speeds at the same time, and therefore growth is a very important priority for us to ensure that the entire economy can grow at its full potential, which is between 8 or 9%.
Are you looking at a fresh capital infusion? Can you afford that?
Arnab, this is all good news what is happening with the banks. The reality is the banks have been very hampered by the policy paralysis and the crony capitalism of the UPA government. Because of that, lots of loans were made out that should not have been made out. Lots of loans were made in sectors where policy had to be scrapped and then restarted. And because of that, bad loans started to mount. We had a whole set of stressed assets that began to really afflict the economy. What we've tried to do is to find not just a way of strengthening bank balance sheets, but at the same time ensuring that these problems don't reoccur again. And again, the facts will tell you that in August 2015, when we launched Indradhanush, which is a reform package for the public sector banks, we put in place the most wide-ranging reforms in the public sector banks since nationalization in 1969. So we are dealing with the issue of recapitalizing the banks, strengthening the bank balance sheets, while at the same time ensuring that this set of behaviors does not occur and does not come back again to haunt us. We are also taking into account industry-wide measures that are required to stabilize the situation. For example, in steel, we've introduced minimum import prices. In the power sector, Honorable Power Minister...
No, but you didn't answer my question. Will the government look at a fresh capital infusion?
We've already laid out in Indradhanush what our recapitalization plan is.
So at an ET event last month, there was a bit of nervousness where the Prime Minister said that incentives for corporates should not be seen as subsidies. And some people began to get nervous, began to talk about how this government is being a bit insensitive for corporates. They're already bleeding, they're having a tough time, and now maybe your government wants to withdraw concessions to corporate India. Is there that kind of thinking afoot in North Block, that you've indulged the corporate sector too much already?
Arnab, you found that elusive middle ground when you're being criticized by folks on the left and some folks on the right as well. So as I said earlier, obviously our goal is to be able to produce a balanced budget. And as we do that, obviously we'll take into account what is required to be able to provide the growth impetus to the economy.
No, but you said, I'm a little confused. Your government said no to retrospective taxation. Yet you send this the fresh demand notice to Vodafone. And what happens is when you send the fresh demand notice to Vodafone, there's massive nervousness all around once again. Why didn't you settle this issue once and for all? Where is this coming from?
Arnab, I think, Arnab, that's a complete red herring. It is the media searching for a headline there. As the Revenue Secretary explained very clearly, it was a routine matter. You must understand that the Vodafone issue has not yet been settled. And because it has not been settled right now, it's important for the tax authorities to continue to do what you have to do in a routine way to ensure that the matter is kept alive as far as our side of the story is concerned.
No, but you gave a 14,000 crore tax reminder. You gave a 14,000 crore tax demand for Vodafone.
Yes, and Arnab, as far as the matter is concerned, that's exactly what the liability is that Vodafone will have to bear in this particular case. We, because of the arbitration and the fact that this matter is going on, have to keep doing what we have to do on a routine matter to keep the whole matter moving along. That's all that we're doing. In the meanwhile, of course, in good faith, we are negotiating with Vodafone. We're trying to see what we can do to be able to settle the matter as
well. Now, let me conclude by asking you, a please-all budget is next to impossible. But if there's one constituency that you would like to please in this budget, what would that be?
That constituency is the people of India.
That's a very large constituency to pick up. I mean, I would have expected the elections around the corner, and some people in your party feel that we should do more for agriculture, for example, you know? Our focus should be more on popular schemes.
We have said all along that the guiding philosophy for our government, and we have maintained this consistently, is Sabka Sath, Sabka Vikas. That means everyone. That means all the people of India, and that's really the exercise that we are engaged in right now.
Anything you'd like to say to
formulate a budget that is going to work for everyone.
Anything you'd like to say to people all watching nervously on budget morning?
Well, you should feel very confident that the economy and the government is in very safe hands with the Honorable Prime Minister and the Honorable Finance Minister. So everybody should rest assured.
Jayant Sinha, I thank you very much for speaking to me. Thank you.